Fleet Commander Zexthol's mandibles clicked with satisfaction, as his electromagnetic warfare specialist confirmed total communication blackout across Earth's surface. The insectoid admiral had studied humanity's greatest weakness extensively, their reliance on constant communication networks that bound their scattered settlements together like a digital nervous system. "Perfect isolation," he announced to his bridge crew aboard the dreadnought Silent Death. "No radio, no internet, no satellite links. Every human settlement is now completely cut off from every other. They cannot coordinate defense, cannot share intelligence, cannot even cry for help." His tactical display showed Earth's major population centers as isolated red dots. Billions of humans suddenly rendered deaf and mute to each other across the vast planet. It was, Zexthol believed, the perfect prelude to conquest. Divide the enemy, eliminate their ability to organize resistance, then sweep in for systematic subjugation. The plan had worked flawlessly against the Centauri Federation and the Crystal Collective. Cut the communication webs that held interplanetary civilizations together, and they collapsed like houses built from paper. Humans, with their single-world civilization entirely dependent on electronic communication, should have been even more vulnerable. The first landing forces deployed exactly 72 hours after the jamming began, enough time for panic and desperation to set in, but not long enough for humans to adapt. Zexthol watched confidently as his drop ships descended toward major cities, expecting to find chaos and disorganized resistance. Instead, they found something that defied every strategic model in the hegemony's databases. "Commander," Communications Officer Velnara reported, her compound eyes reflecting confusion. "The humans are coordinated. Perfectly coordinated." "That's impossible," Zexthol snapped. "Confirm jamming effectiveness." "All electromagnetic frequencies blocked, sir. No radio, no cellular, no digital transmission of any kind. But somehow—" She paused, struggling with concepts her species had never encountered. "They're moving like a single organism." The tactical display updated in real time, showing human responses that shouldn't have been possible. Military units repositioning with perfect timing despite being separated by continents. Civilian evacuations flowing seamlessly between cities that couldn't possibly be in contact. Supply chains adapting to disrupted patterns as if guided by some invisible hand. "How?" Zexthol demanded. His answer came from the field reports flooding in from confused ground commanders. Humans using primitive smoke signals that somehow conveyed complex tactical information. Children running messages between neighborhoods with the efficiency of quantum networks. Elderly humans organizing supply distribution through methods that seemed to involve nothing more than knowing glances and subtle gestures. "Sir," reported Ground Marshal Kethrak from the European theater, "they're using sound. Not radio, actual sound. Church bells, factory whistles, even musical instruments. They've turned their entire continent into one massive communication network using methods that predate electronic technology by millennia." But that was just the beginning. As the invasion continued, Zexthol watched in growing horror as humans demonstrated coordination abilities that transcended any known communication method. Families separated by thousands of kilometers making identical strategic decisions at precisely the same moments. Communities that had never met operating with perfect synchronization. "Commander," his xenobiology specialist reported, "I believe we've encountered something unprecedented. Humans appear to possess what they call common sense, a distributed decision-making capability that allows them to predict optimal responses without direct communication." Zexthol's certainty began to crack as more reports arrived. Humans in isolated villages making supply caches available at exactly the moments when refugees from distant cities would arrive. Urban populations evacuating along routes that perfectly complemented rural defense preparations. Military units executing complex flanking maneuvers despite having no contact with command structures. They're operating on principles we don't understand, his strategic advisor admitted. Shared cultural knowledge, intuitive cooperation, predictive empathy. They don't need to communicate because they already know what each other will do. The final blow came when Zexthal realized that Earth's silence wasn't weakening human resistance, it was strengthening it. Without the distractions of constant digital communication, humans had reverted to older, deeper forms of coordination. They moved like schools of fish, flocks of birds, operating on instincts refined by millennia of cooperation. "Sir," Belnara's voice carried defeat. "Incoming transmission from Hegemony Command. They're asking why our casualty reports show humans fighting more effectively without communications than most species fight with them." Zexthal stared at Earth's surface, where 7 billion humans continued to coordinate flawlessly in perfect silence. He had learned the hard way that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology, it was their uncanny ability to think like a single species while acting as individuals. "Recall all forces," he ordered quietly. "We cannot defeat an enemy that doesn't need to talk to understand."